Welcome back to another episode of the Radio Psychs, your premier podcast for insights into everything mental health. I'm Dr. Aaron Haddock.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Yu. We're psychologists who care about people and bringing science to practice.
And we're so glad to have you join us.
Please note that the information shared in this episode is solely intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Today's topic is chocolate in your mental health.
So good.
Oh, is that the last one?
I don't know.
That was mine.
I couldn't help myself. I needed a sugary boost.
Ugh.
Hey, next time, can you bring in some more of those dark chocolate truffles? They're so good.
You're killing me, dude.
Today, we're unwrapping the delightful and intriguing topic of how chocolate intersects with mental health.
It's considered a frequently craved food, and Americans eat about 3 billion kilograms of it each year. That's the equivalent weight of about 500 Great Pyramids, or about 2 million cars.
Wow. Chocolate also has an interesting history of being more than just a treat. It's been thought to reduce fever, treat childhood diarrhea, promote strength, and even enhance sleep. The list goes on.
Well, given how much we consume, we should really talk about how this chocolate eating habit of ours impacts our mental health.
Agreed. But let's start with a quick description of what chocolate is.
Yeah, sounds good. So, what is it?
Chocolate is basically a sweet food product made from roasted and ground cacao beans.
Wait, hold up. Is it cacao or cocoa?
Both cocoa and cacao are terms used in the context of chocolate production, and they refer to the same plant and its products. However, they're used in different stages of processing. Cacao is used to refer to the plant and its beans before they're roasted.
So, in other words, it starts as cacao and becomes cocoa.
Exactly. The cocoa is the processed cacao beans, which is then mixed with sugar and other ingredients to create the solid treat we're all so familiar with. Rondi, what do we know about how it affects the brain?
Well, we know that several neuroimaging studies have shown evidence of improved blood flow in the brain, oxygen levels, or nerve function after the consumption of cocoa.
And chocolate, especially dark chocolate, is rich in flavanols, a form of flavonoids, which are naturally occurring compounds that you find in plant-based foods that have been linked to cognitive function.
In addition to flavanols, chocolate contains other psychoactive components, including methylxanthines, specifically caffeine and theobromine, which are associated with improving alertness and cognitive function.
Yeah, and there's some interesting research examining the effects of chocolate on cognitive function. Take, for example, the Cocoa Cognition and Aging study, where healthy elderly adult participants that consumed cocoa flavanols daily for 8 weeks showed notable improvements in their ability to process information quickly and stay focused.
In another study published in 2016, researchers examined a large dataset from a longitudinal study and found that regular chocolate intake was linked to improved cognitive function.
Oh, that's a good example. What was considered a regular amount of chocolate intake?
At least once a week. Those who ate chocolate at least once a week demonstrated better performance in various cognitive abilities, including memory and reasoning.
So what do you think, Ronnie? Based on the evidence, can we say that chocolate's good for boosting our cognitive performance?
For boosting cognitive performance? Probably not. At least not yet. We shared examples of studies that suggest chocolate improves cognitive performance, but when you look at all the studies examining the effects of chocolate on cognitive performance, you'll see debates and inconsistencies.
Yeah, there may be studies that show chocolate has positive effects on cognitive abilities, but there are also studies that show no effects on cognitive abilities.
And even though there's some evidence of improved brain blood flow, oxygen levels, and nerve function after consuming cocoa, there's a lack of evidence that connects any of these changes with improved performance on cognitive tasks.
Right. It seems like we just need to see more research.
Aaron, let's move on and talk about how chocolate impacts mood.
Of course. Chocolate has long been associated with lifting our spirits. Positive mood effects consistently accompany whole chocolate consumption in most studies.
The amino acid tryptophan in chocolate is a precursor to serotonin, a neurotransmitter that contributes to feelings of well-being and happiness.
So, when we eat chocolate, Our bodies use the tryptophan to produce serotonin.
That's right.
You know, some people say chocolate can act as an aphrodisiac because it contains a compound called phenylethylamine that triggers the release of dopamine, another neurotransmitter that produces a feel good effect. Is this true?
It's true that there can be a significant amount of phenylethylamine in chocolate, but when we ingest it, our bodies break it down before it reaches the brain. So it doesn't appear to be something that impacts our mood.
When we do see chocolate produce a positive effect on mood, is it all happening just because of what it's made of? The compounds in chocolate?
Maybe not. The palatability of chocolate might also play a significant role in influencing our mood.
In other words, it's probably not just about what's in the chocolate, but how we experience it.
Exactly. Chocolate, for many of us, tastes good. We enjoy the experience of eating it, which tends to make us happy.
But the effects can vary between individuals.
That's true. Everyone's different.
Hey, let's say I'd like to start eating chocolate regularly.
Okay.
There are so many different types of chocolate available: milk chocolates, dark chocolates, white chocolates. How do I choose?
In the US, that's actually the order of most to least favorite. Based on sales data and various polls of people's preferences, milk chocolate first, then dark chocolate, and white coming in last. I personally lean towards the rich dark varieties.
There's also dark milk chocolate, a crossover between dark and milk chocolate that I really like.
Okay. So you can certainly choose by taste, but if you'd like to get more cocoa content, then go for the darker chocolates. The darker the chocolate, the greater the levels of cocoa flavanols.
And if I do start eating chocolate regularly, I think I'll have a little a few times a week. How's that sound?
Sounds good. This is a difficult question to answer because while chocolate appears to boost mood, at least in the short term, and studies suggest that eating it a few times a week may be associated with certain cognitive benefits, more research is needed to answer the question of how much and how often is best.
Good point. And if we'd like to take in more flavonoids, chocolate isn't the only source, is it? There are many flavanol rich foods like apples, berries, broccoli, onions, and even green tea.
As much as I'd like to say that chocolate is something that we should all eat a lot of, it seems that we're just not there with what we currently know about it. There are also health risks associated with eating too much chocolate.
There's a lot of added sugars and calories in chocolate, and excessive consumption may counteract any benefits we get from it. Hey, can addiction be an issue with chocolate? Is this another risk to watch out for?
Well, there is theobromine in chocolate that does have psychoactive effects. It can stimulate the release of dopamine, but the levels of theobromine in chocolate are much lower than those of caffeine.
Meaning it's unlikely to cause a full blown addiction.
Yeah,
Looks like that's our time today. Remember, when it comes to chocolate, we need to keep moderation in mind and enjoy the benefits without sabotaging our overall well being.
yeah, well said, Aaron. And that's a wrap.
Thank you for joining us on this delectable journey through the bittersweet world of chocolate and its effects on mental health.
Take care and be well, everybody.
Take care and be well.